bunch of issues, and, they had just been arguing, and basically, the police were extremely nice and, just very gentle and, thorough, but they didn't see anything criminal here. They just saw mental health issues, and neither one of the two wanted to press charges on the other one. So they took Brian to stay at a hotel for the night, and Gabby stayed in the van for the night. And that was it for that police interaction. Now, on August 17th, Brian flew back to his home in Florida, where he and his father moved some things into storage. Now, we don't know exactly what that's all about, but then he returned back to Gabby and the van on August 23rd. She had been staying in a hotel during that whole time. Now, if you ask me, and I had to guess, which is not very meaningful, but just what I feel is that maybe he wanted to break up, or they had decided to break up after that fight, and seeing the police, maybe, and so he had left, and he had taken her stuff out and put it in storage, preparing for their breakup. And then maybe she contacted him and they decided to get back together. Like I said, I have no evidence of this. This is just what I think might have happened there. So anyway, he did return on the 23rd of August. On August 19th, Gabby posted her first and last YouTube video. And it was called Beginning Our Van Life Journey, and I watched a little bit of it, and it was really nice, actually. It looked very beautiful, and they looked to be so happy and in love, like seriously. And you can see how nice her van is inside, and it looks like they're having so much fun, and you see them walking along the beach and eating and kissing and everything. And let's see, on the 24th of August was the very last time that Gabby spoke to her mother on FaceTime. And by the way, she had been in communication with her mother through FaceTime very regularly, like every couple of days or so. On August 25th, Gabby made her final Instagram post in Ogden, Utah. On August 30th, she made her final text to her mother, which simply said, "No service in Yosemite." And the mother wasn't quite sure if that really came from Gabby or not. It could have been Brian, sending it from her phone. Nobody really knows. But anyway, on September 1st, Brian arrived home in Northport, Florida, without Gabby. And just so you know, it is said to be a 40-hour drive from where he left Yosemite to his home. So he had to have driven that, kind of in a constant fashion to have gotten back on September 1st. When he gets back, he does not alert Gabby's family to anything whatsoever. And Gabby's family was trying to get in contact with her, and they were getting absolutely nowhere. So finally, on September 11th, they reported her missing to the police. It was at that point that Gabby's van was confiscated from Brian's house so that they could, look at it for evidence. But at this point, there's no evidence of a crime at all, regardless of what we all think. Because there's no body, there's no nothing, there's just a missing girl. That's all there is. I mean, we all expect that if a girl goes on a cross-country trip with her boyfriend, that when he comes home, she will be with him. And if not, he should have a pretty good explanation. But here he has no explanation. In fact, he just simply will not speak. And immediately the family hired a lawyer. And he was the only person that would communicate for them. The family would not speak, and Brian would not speak. Even though Gabby's family was practically begging them to share some information, trying to appeal to the parents, like, hey, your parents too, and, how would you feel if your child was missing? Can you imagine how we feel not knowing where our daughter is? Please give us some information. But here is the statement from the lawyer on behalf of Brian's family. The Laundrie family is remaining in the background at this juncture and will have no further comment. And then he claims that, quote, Brian has nothing to offer to police, meaning he has no information. And we would only hear from if they find him, he's still not going to be arrested. Nothing has changed in that regard at this point. So all they can do if they find him is return him home. But at least then they can keep an eye on him to make sure they know where he is for the time being. I found some pictures of his art from Instagram that I did want to show here because they might shed a little bit of light on his personality, which we know very little about. So these drawings of his are what I would say, what I would describe to be kind of dark and chilling, but yet not that telling, you know, because there are lots and lots of artists out there who do draw things like this and never commit, you know, a violent act. But I think at the very